And turning now to Long Island and another sensational murder case as the estranged wife of the accused Gilgo Beach serial killer steals the spotlight once again from her locked up husband. New reports reveal a DNA sample taken from Asa Ellerup matches her to genetic material found on the remains of Rex Heuermann's alleged victims. Now, the match could add to the incriminating evidence against Heuermann. He's charged so far in the deaths of 3 women, their bodies found more than a decade ago. This all comes as Ellerup makes news with another questionable relationship, this one with the Peacock Network, which signed her to a 7-figure documentary deal to tell her story as the Heuermann trial unfolds. To NewsNation's Laura Engel from Long Island tonight with more on this new report. Laura?
Hi, Connell. You know, if verified, this could bring an even stronger link to Rex Heuermann and his wife to the victims in this case. It is important to note that these reports have not been verified by law enforcement, but still, this could be a major development similar to the one we saw when investigators were able to link DNA off of a pizza box linked to Rex Heuermann that they say tied him to this case.
Off to the side. Newsday and ABC News reporting that a cheek swab sample taken from Asa Ellerup, the wife of Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann, matches DNA material found on the remains of some of Heuermann's alleged victims. The sample was taken from Ellerup in July when her husband was arrested for the murder of 3 victims, their bodies found dumped on Gilgo Beach in 2010. Despite the reports, Ellerup's attorney said this to NewsNation. There is nothing new in the reports today. This is consistent with what the prosecution stated at Rex Heuermann's arraignment. We have not seen or received any further DNA reports. The prosecution has been consistent since day one that Asa Ellerup is not a suspect and was not in the jurisdiction when these homicides were committed. There have been previous reports that genetic material linked to hair found in burlap wrapped around some of the victims matched Ellerup's DNA, and now there appears to be a possible stronger link. Also important to note, prosecutors have not charged Asa Ellerup with any crimes and say she was out of town at the time of the murders. Forensic experts say if Ellerup's DNA indeed matches genetic material found on some of the victims, it would raise more questions than answers.
What's fascinating to me is that it was still there after this period of time where it has been exposed out in the elements, and they were still able to recover it. This is very fragile evidence. Wind can come up and blow hairs away. From my perspective, I'd like to know if there was more than one hair, if you had multiple hairs, or if you had multiple other sources of DNA that might be found there.
Rex Heuermann was arrested and charged with the murder for 3 of the 4 victims of the Gilgo 4. Their remains were discovered along a remote stretch of Ocean Parkway on Long Island in 2010. A grand jury is still investigating him as a prime suspect in the 4th case and is said to be close to a conclusion that could come before Christmas.
And we reached out to the Suffolk County District Attorney for comment on this case. They gave us none, saying they could not comment on it. And Rex Heuermann will be back in court on February 6th. Connell?
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.